Hi guys, welcome to SavvyMoneyShow with me, your host Sean. I've been asked a question about investments while on benefits, about property, ISAs, and the like, and more people are dropping into the benefit trap. That for me isn't having a go at anyone on benefits. That for me, I know plenty of people on benefits and I try to help them. Advice. That for me means that inflation is going at such a rapid rate and wages are not keeping up. So what's happening is people need to be topped up with benefits to survive. First off, I want to thank you for giving up precious time in your day for watching this video. Please like, share and comment to help get this out to as many people as possible. And if you don't mind, check out the free links down below. You can pick up a free share. You get a free referral to cashback sites. They don't cost you anything. There's plenty of other freebies in there as well. I use each and every one of them. Now let's get back into the video. I'm a big advocate for investing, as you're probably aware from my channel. However, if you're on benefits, you have to be careful, because your universal credit could be affected, which I understand. They don't want to be paying benefits to people have a massive amount of assets, but I think they have it set very low, because how is anyone supposed to help get themselves out when they do not give them the safety net to climb out of it themselves? They do certain schemes where anyone on benefits can start a business. You have to be careful of the income floor, where although there are some exemptions to the income floor, you have things where you can plow back money back into the business and still receive your top up from universal credit, but you need to. This video isn't about that so much. That is if you're planning on creating a business, and creating a business is a great idea if you have the idea and the willpower. It's a lot of work to set it up, but once it's set up and running, it tends to operate itself if you do it right. I've consulted people on doing this. Both me and my wife have set up businesses for people. It is a lot of work to set it up and get it running, but once it's up and running, you get coming in. Now this is about investments. There's so many different types of investments. Money, savings and investments. The government considers them all the same, even crypto. And you have to be careful with this, purely because they will slash or take away your benefits on them. And you see there, if you have between 6 and 16,000, they will start reducing it at 6,000. If you hit 16,000, if you go over 16,000 in assets, they will take it away. and they don't make it quite clear here. They try to make it as clear as possible, but with examples. However, as you say, has savings of 17,000. I think they should have just said has 16,250, because that's what it means. Now, this is one way around it, children's savings. I've said before, I'm a big advocate of putting money into kids' accounts. So, junior ISAs, child trust funds. I have money in kids' junior ISA, where I manage their stocks and shares in there. I also have my kids' savings accounts, and you have to be careful about this, because you could open a kids' account at a bank. I've fallen foul of this myself, where I've opened an account for my kids in my kid's name, and I found out later the account is still in my name because I'm the guardian of it, and as far as Universal Credit is aware, the account is in my name. So I had to switch the money back to over to one of my other kids' accounts. The benefit of kids' accounts is they get a better interest rate, pay no tax. You don't need a cash ISA for this. And if I die, the money goes straight to them. No inheritance tax, as long as it's I've given it to them for 7 years, or it's been given by a family member, which is usually what happens. Birthday presents, instead of giving presents, I ask them to put cash into their bank account, and it builds up. And now, if you are on benefits and you're working, or your partner is working, I always say best thing to do is maximise your pension. I did a video before where I went to work for 9 months and I halved my wages to, well, more than half my wages actually, so to put the money into the pension, put a majority of the money into my pension to bring myself down below the 12,570 tax bracket. Meant that I didn't pay any tax, and it meant I was bumping up my pension. It meant that I was putting for every pound I was putting in, £1.20 was effectively going into my pension, because I was saving up 20% tax. But if me or my partner was on Universal Credit, that £1 would have been the effect of £1.70, because for every pound your partner goes over their allowance, income allowance, you get charged 50p. So in effect, if you work out your allowance and you make sure you come under, you can afford to, you build up a savings pot to below 6,000 and you pay off your debts, then the best thing for you to do is maximise your pension. Work out what will bring you to underneath the tax threshold, or just under your allowance with Universal Credit. Do a budget, work out what you can afford to put into your pension. You do it that way, and that £1 is only costing you 30p, because for every pound that you put in, your partner puts in, he's saving the 20% in tax, 20p in tax, and he's saving you're saving 50p on universal credit, so that's 70p. That is the best way of investing. I get that it's locked away till you're 60, 65, 67, however old, but that would be the best way for someone on benefits, purely because the government will not count that as assets. The only time they count it is when you're drawing from it. So if you go, when you're older and you go to draw on your pension, then if you take a lump sum of say 30, 40, 50,000, and you have 50,000 in your bank, then they will look at it. I hope this has been helpful. I do still think putting in an ISA, stocks and shares ISA, is the best way forward, but you won't be able to maximise it at 20,000. I do think you put a little bit in a cash ISA, a little bit in a stocks and shares ISA, because the market is a bit bubbly right now, even after the correction. And I do feel like it should be as long as you keep your ISA under that 6,000, you'll be fine. And as long as, even if it goes over slightly, you keep it under 16,000. But first thing I do, and don't forget, when your kids are born, if you put £4,000 into a stocks and shares ISA or a child trust fund, by the time they retire, it should be worth $1 million. So if you have kids, and I'm throwing out a lot of large numbers here, so I'm not expecting anyone to put £4,000 in, or 6,000 or 20,000 in one go. No one does. It's just the way I used to see it was, when I go out, if I thought to myself, oh, maybe I should go to a chicken shop, maybe I'll go get a burger, and I think to myself, would I rather £5? And this is the best thing about investing nowadays, is you can invest with fractional shares. You can invest without paying any dealing fees. So I'd think to myself, would I rather have £5, or would I rather have 5 of these shares, or would I rather have 1 of these shares, or would I rather have a fractional share of this? And then you build your portfolio up this way. Instead of going out and buying treats for yourself, you delay that gratification, and you put in there, because you buy something sweet, and then 5 minutes later you want another thing that's sweet. I've fallen in that trap myself, and now I just put the money in that I was going to spend into my investing account. The investing accounts I use are varied. I use Trading 212 for my ISA because it's a free ISA. I use Freetrade for my general investing account, and I have Lightyear and Invest Engine. I have one to hold my cash until I want to invest it, purely because the interest rate they give me on there is better than other brokers. And the other one, it gives you ETFs, exchange traded funds, at a cheaper price than, and you may have heard of Vanguard, which is one of the best ETFs, and cheaper than Vanguard itself does. Now, you can get referral link down below for each of these, and doesn't cost you a penny. I use it, as I said, I use each of them. I use interactive brokers as well for options, but I wouldn't suggest you doing options until you're more experienced. I suggest, if you're going to, remember, this isn't advice, if you are going to dip your foot into shares, I would suggest going into an ETF like the S&P 500 or the QQQ until you've learnt more about individual share picking. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out, comment in the box below. I have a free Discord as well, and best of luck. I do think it's terrible what Labour are doing right now with the disability element, especially as a lot of people who voted for them were probably disabled. Person to follow be Gary's Economics. I hope each of you subscribe to me. I know a lot of you don't, but if it's between me and Gary's Economics, please, Gary's Economics. He is fighting for everyone's rights and fighting the government to try and get a wealth tax in, and show how a simple 1% tax on the wealthy will negate the fact for all these cuts. I'll see you in the next video.